As stated in a letter outside the collective agreement, a joint review will update our directive for the post-pandemic era, and an additional mechanism will help address individual concerns. The Government of Canada values the important role its employees play in delivering services to Canadians. PSAC members are a vital part of that work, and these agreements will provide them with important benefits and enhancements that recognize their significant contributions. We also appreciate the public's patience as we resume normal operations as quickly as possible. This government has always championed the collective bargaining process, and we put all of our focus on the bargaining table. This agreement proves that the right deal for employees and Canadians could be struck at the negotiating table. Merci. Thank you.
Concrètement, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire pour le télétravail?
What does it mean
de
for
dire qu'on va y aller au
say
cas par cas?
that
Comment
we're
est-ce que
going to
ça
go
va
case by
fonctionner?
case? How will it work? First, there are two things. There's an intent letter that we can see revise the direction that has not been revised since 1993. And the second one will have a mechanism to permit to have a person representing the union and a manager to discuss of a particular case, so we can add an option and we'll have a discussion, and then the decision will be made. So we give an occasion to permit people to express themselves.
What is the cost to taxpayers here? What is the bottom line cost to taxpayers?
Yes, this agreement is less than half of the cost of the PSAC's original demands, and its ongoing cost is estimated at $1.3 billion a year.
Was it worth the 2 years of debates, criminalist debates, to get to this deal? Could we have reached it without a strike? I can say that we worked a lot over the last few years. We've been some policies that have been chosen by the union, and we came back to the table. A month ago, we worked very hard, and today makes it that we will be able to work together with the deal we've got.
Can you say what remote work? I mean, this is potentially going to be something that will be a grievance now.
No,
not
at all.
So how will that work then, that it will not end up in continual grievances of people who want to work more than 3 days a week at home?
I would like to make sure that everybody understands this is a letter of intent. Outside of the collective bargaining agreement, we will be reviewing the Telework directive that hasn't been reviewed since 1993. And we'll also create a mechanism to encourage the union and manager to discuss individual issues that could touch culture or management issues, but they're not grievable. It just gives a space for them to discuss and then have an opportunity for the manager or the DM to make a decision. Therefore, we...
Case by case.
How's it going with CI?
They're still at the table and negotiating as we speak, and looking forward to see how this will unfold.
Le cas par cas dans le télétravail,
Case
est-ce
by
que
case
ça
in
peut
Telework.
vouloir dire qu'il va y avoir
Can it
plus
mean
d'exemptions
there'll
et
be
qu'il y a
more
plus de
exemptions,
fonctionnaires
more
n'auront pas
public
à
officers
travailler en personne
that won't have to work in
Là,
presential?
présentement, on va
No.
garder
Presently,
la politique que nous
we
avons
want
en
to keep
place
the policy
où
we've got
les
in
fonctionnaires
place
peuvent travailler jusqu'à
for
3 jours à la maison. Ce
the
qui est
public
important,
officers
c'est qu'on
can
a
work
voulu
3
donner
days at
parce
home.
qu'on sait
We
qu'à
wanted to
certains
give because we
niveaux,
know
on a besoin de discuter
at certain
quel
places we
genre
need to
d'exemple
discuss
est-ce qu'on
the
a.
type of
Alors, on donne une
examples. So we are
opportunité
getting
à
an
un
opportunity
comité à pouvoir regarder ces
to look
éléments-là qui
into
vont venir
these elements
nous aider
that will help
à
us
regarder comment
to
on va
look into
améliorer
how
cette
we can
directive
improve
de télétravail.
the telework.
Encore 2-3 jours semaine minimum en
Jusqu'à
présentiel.
It's
3
still
jours à la
2,
maison.
3 days minimum.
Jusqu'à
It's
3
up
jours.
to
Donc,
3 days.
Maximum 3 jours à la
Maximum
maison, c'est ce que vous
3
avez
days maximum at
Présentement,
home.
c'est ce que la directive dit.
Yes, this is what the ruling says.
Because this is a big deal. It's going to influence how a lot of other negotiations work.
Yes, of
Workers
course.
are trying to make up gains from loss by inflation, and you're trying to presumably not fuel inflation. So we can just
Well, again, if you see the baseline, 1.5%, 4.5, so we go and support of course, the inflation in 2022, and then we go down as we go in the next 2 years. Therefore, we're making sure that we recognize that in our decision-making.
When was the decision made to extend this to 4 years in terms of the negotiating period? You had a 3-year for over 9%, right? Now a 4-year, 12.6, the union saying, you said 11 point something, but.
11.5%.
Right, so
again, this is the benefit of negotiating at the table. At the beginning of the process, we had started with 4 years and then went to 3, and then realized that coming back to 4-year was a solution that would be bringing both parties to a conclusion. We know that the 2 other agreements that we have with ACFO and the Electrical Brotherhood Group, they have 4-year agreements. Therefore, that's what we have as a deal for having stability, I would say, for 4 years.
On those waste negotiations?
Pardon me?
Because it seems to me like the average is pretty similar to what it would have been for 3 years.
We're still in
9%.
line with the PIC report. So.
On seniority, what's the difference with what we had before? And you fear it could put in peril the future since seniority is predominant in
Alors,
this
les
new
parties
collective
ont convenu
agreement.
de
The parties
recommander à la Commission de la
convened
fonction
to
publique
ask
du Canada
the
d'étudier une proposition selon
public
laquelle
officer
les
to
offres
consolidate
d'emploi
the
raisonnables
positions
peuvent
as
être
far
faites
as the
par
job
ordre
offer is
d'ancienneté,
reasonable can be
sous
done by
réserve des
seniority
exigences de
and
la
the
loi,
reserve of the
sur l'équité en
requirements
matière
of the law
d'emploi et de
as far as
l'application du
employment
principe du
and the
mérite. Donc, c'est ce
application
qu'on s'est
of
entendu,
the
on va
principle.
regarder
That's what we
et on va
agreed for.
faire le développement.
And we're going to do the development of that. So it means that some young public officers won't go first
On va
by,
continuer
will
avec
continue
l'élément de mérite.
to
On n'a pas
see
laissé
the
ça
merit
comme
element.
Alors, c'est
It won't be
important de
put aside.
reconnaître que nous
So
avons
it's important to recognize that.
What should Canadians expect now for federal services, given that there's been about a 2-week
Well,
strike?
thank you for that question. Of course, we are going to resume normal activities as fast as we can, and we will be able to assess where we are at and hopefully be able to get back on track quickly.
Qu'est-ce
What
qui explique que vous n'ayez pas signé avec la
explains
RC?
that you haven't signed with the
Qu'est-ce qui
RC?
explique que la RC, il n'y a pas d'entente?
There's no agreement. The ARC, we have a process we choose why the Treasury Board negotiates with the 4 groups under the central administration, is back to the table, they're working hard. There's a possibility to have some good news soon, but it's still the revenue agency that's negotiating. Listen, it's the Canadian Revenue Agency of Canada, my mandate. I gave the parameters. I'm not negotiating at the table. I know what's going on at the table.
The first one, we just need an emotional response from you on what it's like to get the deal, and then I have a local question after that. So,
Well, let's say that my kids were very happy that I will be able to spend time with them after a long month of negotiation. I feel very good that we have worked very hard, both negotiation teams, and I believe that we have a really good deal on the table that is reasonable, that is fair for Canadians, and that we can now resume activities. And also, I have another 24 or 23 more deals to work on now that we've done these 6.
a separate question that I have for you to be answered in both languages.
Oui.
Hip-hop star Snoop Dogg from California is joining one of the proposal teams to buy the senators. You are the minister for Ottawa. What do you think in both official languages, please?
Wow, I'm really glad we get to talk about hockey now. Listen, we'll see how this resolves. Moi, je pense qu'on a besoin d'avoir une
I
équipe qui est
think that
forte
we
à
need
Ottawa.
a strong
J'ai
team
hâte
in
de
Ottawa,
voir quel
and looking forward to see
préparer.
who's gonna win the midway.
I will. So I'm very happy to see that there's movement. We have a strong team in Ottawa, and I'm hopeful to see who will be continuing with that strong team.
Pour les pratiques culturelles autochtones,
For the
c'est combien? Sur les
cultural
congés pour les
practices
pratiques
of
culturelles
Indigenous,
autochtones, c'est combien?
Une journée.
It's one day. It's one day off.
You know, it's interesting you signed 4 years. PSAC insisted it would be 3. Surely there was a moment at one point where tone shifted and then suddenly you were optimistic. When was that and what caused it?
I will say, I believe when we decided to bring our final offer, that's where things started to shift, and working very hard all weekend and also recognizing, as much as I respect all of you, that we needed to be in a silent mode to finish and then come out with the news very late last night that we had a tentative deal. Je vais le répéter en français.
I'll
Si vous
repeat
me
in
permettez,
French,
je vais
if
juste
you
répéter.
permit. I'll just repeat.
Comme vous savez, je pense
As you
que
know,
c'est vraiment
I think
lorsqu'on a mis l'offre
it's really
finale,
when we put the
le
final
processus
offer on
d'offre
the table,
finale
the
sur la
process
table
of final
vendredi,
offer
qu'il y a eu un
Friday,
tournant
that there
et
has
qu'on
been a
a les
shift,
deux parties
and the two
mis toutes
parties
nos
put
énergies
all
à la table
their
pour
energy at the
arriver
table
après un
to
très
come
long
through
week-end
after
à
a
une
very long
entente
weekend
très tôt ce matin.
to a
Et
deal very
encore une
early this
fois,
morning.
je veux
And
dire aux
once again,
Canadiens,
I
aux
want to say to
employés,
Canadians,
nous avons
employees,
une bonne offre
we
qui est
have a
juste,
good
qui est
offer
raisonnable
that's fair,
et
that's
en
reasonable,
plus qui va nous donner une année
that will
de
give
plus.
us
Alors,
one extra year.
c'est important.
Demande, entre autres,
Il y en avait
2,50
570
There was
demandes.
570 demands.
l'heure pour le travail
So
après
to
16 heures,
the work after 5 o'clock, premium per year. Have
Est-ce
you
que vous me
consented?
permettrez, c'est
Can
que
you
je pourrais
let
pas
me?
aller dans les détails,
I can't go
nous
into
allons
the
avoir,
details.
plus d'informations
We'll
qu'on
have
va
more
pouvoir vous
information
partager,
that we'll be able to share
en détail.
shortly
Ce qui est
in
important
details.
de se rappeler,
Right now, what's
c'est que nous
important
avons une
to
entente qui est
know
tentative.
is we've got
Évidemment, les membres
a
doivent
tentful
voter, qu'on va laisser
deal, and we'll
cette
let
ratification se faire pour
this
ensuite pouvoir s'assurer de
confirmation being
partager
done
toutes les bonnes
to
décisions.
then share all the good
I
decisions.
just want to respect that I cut you off.
Legislation on the table since you did call this the final offer over the weekend.
I will be saying that the whole time I believed it was at the table we could find the best deal, and that's exactly what happened.
Sur le pourcentage, Madame Fortier,
On the percentage, Mrs. Fortier, it was 12.6, you're at 11.5, we don't have the same numbers.
On a les mêmes chiffres,
We
mais
have the
il faut
same numbers,
quand même dire
but
que
still, we
l'augmentation
have
de la
to say
base,
that
c'est
the
11,5.
increase is
Le
11.5,
11,5 avec un montant
11.5
qui
with
et
an amount,
des ajustements salariaux,
an
c'est cette
adjustment,
partie-là
salary
qui
adjustment, that's the part
augmente
that
pour différents
is
groupes. Donc,
increasing
c'est à
for various
l'intérieur
groups. So
des ententes
it's
des différents
within
groupes.
the
Donc, c'est
deals of the
11,5
different
pour
groups,
la
but it's
base.
11.5
Et puis,
for the
comme vous
basis,
avez vu, c'est
and like you've seen,
1,5 la première année,
it's 1.5 the first year, 4.75
pour aller à
to go up
2,25% la quatrième année.
2.5%.
Perturbations de service à l'heure où on se parle, est-ce qu'il y a encore des perturbations?
Is there still some disturbance, and what will it take to go back to normal? I'd like to answer you at this time. Since we've signed at 1 o'clock in the morning, we'll be able to evaluate throughout the day and the return to normal activities. I'll be able to, we're putting all our efforts to go back to normal.
The 2.5 thousand that you're just giving lump sum plus the base adjustments of up to 0.5 or plus. Can you explain why those parts? Why are you just giving $2,500? And why is it not just a wage increase? Like, explain the difference and why.
Well, it would be great to go in a lot of details. You have to understand this has been a very, very important negotiation to make sure that employees are paid fairly, that they have, we have demonstrated, of course, the work that they've done. We also followed the third-party PIC report, and all of that makes it where we have today 11.5% increase over 4 years, and the 1 year is 2,500 pensionable. I'll let you, because I didn't end up.
How much of a say will the union now have in telework decisions if with the union employer departmental panels?
I'm not sure I understand your question, but what I do know is the letter intent is out of the collective bargaining agreement. It's a letter of intent where we will be reviewing, the telework agreement, and we will be starting that process as soon as the collective bargaining agreement is ratified by members.
On contracting out, what's different?
Thank you
What's
very
different on
much.
contracting out?
We'll continue this later. Thank you very much.
All right, so we're listening to Mona Fortier. She is the president of the Treasury Board representing the Trudeau government on this deal, a big one between 120,000 federal workers and the government, and a 12-day strike. This tentative agreement coming through overnight around 2 a.m. Eastern. It means some of those workers are now back on the job today, depending on when they heard that a deal had been reached. Wage increases were a major demand. The union saying it got a 12.6% raise over 4 years. That is instead of the 13.5% the union wanted over 3 years. The union didn't get one of their key demands as well, which was to add in permanently the right to work from home in labor agreements, although working from home up to 3 days a week will be allowed as is currently the case. It's not over yet. There are still 35,000 workers at the CRA, Canada Revenue Agency. They are still on strike. The government's still negotiating, although Mona Fortier is saying she is hoping to have some positive news in the days ahead. So again, a tentative deal has been reached, and those 120,000 workers are now set to go back to work. Some, in fact, are already back on the job as we speak.